Attention, starting in 15 minutes.
The play which you're about to see was written in the late 1940s. The playwright, Karol Wojtyła, who later became Pope John Paul II. The play is about a real person, Albert Chmielowski, a successful, gifted artist who gave it all up. Took the name Brother Albert and became a monk. In his memoirs, Pope John Paul II writes, "For me, Brother Albert was particularly important because I found in him a real spiritual support, an example in leaving behind the world of art, literature, and the theater, and in making the radical choice of a vocation to the priesthood. As a young priest, I wrote a dramatic work in his honor entitled The Brother of Our God. This was my way of repaying a debt of gratitude to him." In his early years, Adam took part in the 1863 uprising against the Russian occupation of Poland. An incident which occurred during battle affected him physically the rest of his life. It left him lame. This is how our character, Albert Chmielowski, describes that event. "I wasn't aware of the danger. How long did it last? I don't know. The Russians, tired of shooting, finally stopped. I was becoming bored, wondering when someone would come up to fetch me. How much longer will God's patience bear human stupidity? I outpaced death, but I saw beautiful images only. I had no thoughts of eternity or my soul. I only thought about the poetic and heroic side of the thing.
Все, пошел. Так, подносим его. Аккуратно. Взяли. Раз, два. Положили. Убирайте. И что, режем?
Only a simple woman knew how to properly assess the real value of things. She considered the redemption of my soul. It was with joy that I welcomed the idea of calling for a priest. Immediately, I imagined how beautiful that was going to be. A dying insurgent and an old capuchin with a long white beard. How beautiful I deemed it. An indecently obese man appeared. His massive figure, not in the least soulful, was so distant from what I had imagined that I didn't want to confess or even to speak to him.
I believe that Max, the part I play in Wojtyła's drama, is based on the painter Maximilian Jerimski. He was even more talented than Albert Chmielowski, and both were outstanding artists, though. For a time, they studied together in Munich. The writer of the play often consciously distorted the chronology of events, so the following monologue may have been spoken there.
Can one serve art and God both at the same time? Christ says you cannot have two masters. I believe that serving art is always adulterous, unless you do it like Fra Angelico, devoting your art, your talent, and your thoughts to the glory of God, painting only what is sacred. But to be like him, one must be purified. One must make oneself sacred by joining a monastery. Because in this world it is so very difficult to find inspiration for such great subjects. Nonetheless, in time one finds one's way and purpose in life.
In Wojtyła's play,
there's the character of Helena.
evidently Helena Modrzewska, one of the most gifted actresses
Of the 19th century, a rival to Sarah Bernard.
In her memoirs, Helena devotes much space to Adam Chmielowski. To young painters, our house was a place where they could discuss art and life with eminent figures, well-known scientists and writers. Adam Chmielowski not only possessed all the Christian virtues, but was also a devoted patriot. His soul was pure. He believed in happiness for everyone, in the glory of God, and the glory of art. Another witness of the time, Maria Morsztyn-Górska, remembers. Adam, like his two friends, was in love with Helena. But in his heart, the admiration he had for her might have had deeper roots. Modrzewska had only friendship for him. Chmielowski never talked about his feeling for her, but we know from his memoirs that despair was ravaging his soul.
10 seconds to curtain up.
Have you ever considered, Max, that we can transform little, ridiculously little, apart from ourselves? As artists, we merely try to understand and reflect in our work an unexpected insight into ourselves, which, slowly transformed, has suddenly realized its own transformation. Then people come along, take an interest in the work of art, and through that interest, engage the artist who can so change his skin like a chameleon. They need this kind of engagement to transcend themselves. It does not cost them much.
I envy you such a viewpoint. You have a high opinion of your public.
Well then, why?
You want to ask me why I still paint at all? Well, certainly not for the public.
And yet, in spite of everything, a bond remains. A sense of social mission.
You're wrong. And your mistake begins very close to your art.
We are not talking about coteries, of course.
No, we're not talking about coteries or about snobs. We're talking about the most honest spectator or listener there is. But do you really think that the man who brews beer, who cobbles shoes, or even pours about 13th century manuscripts, do you think that he will be able to recreate within himself the whole truth of your associations, your vision, or your agonizing?
That's nothing to do with it.
What do you mean it has nothing to do with it? If it hasn't, then don't blab about effect, about influence, mission, and above all, about responsibility. Because if it has nothing to do with it, then all these things don't count.
You now quibble.
To a degree, rightly so. It just serves to prove my point. Let me finish. You see, there's simply a multitude of atoms revolving each in its own sphere. And I, too, revolve in my own sphere. That's all there's to it. I think I would go to waste if, in the course of spinning around myself, I were to take note of action, influence, responsibility all the time.
And yet you too have exhibitions.
Yes. In every one of us, there resides both a man exchangeable, like money, and in his innermost depth, a non-exchangeable man, only known to himself.
And what will you do with the exchangeable one? After all, you're not making him a fortune.
Of course not. But I don't intend to fight him either. It is enough for me simply to be aware of the other, the non-exchangeable one, and to know that within me there exists a dividing line between the two. Otherwise, life would be commonplace and stupid.
But if you did fight the exchangeable one?
That would be unbearable. No, it's enough to be aware of the other, and through that awareness be separate from him.
I think you are wrong, Max. Apologies and good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Oh, you're both here. Allow me to introduce our friend. He arrived here from Munich last night for his exhibition.
Ah, it's your exhibition. I read about it in this morning's papers.
As you can see, or rather hear, he has brought with him in his heart a lot of idealism, but I, an old hand and renegade, am bent on rooting it out. Maybe you didn't hear our conversation?
Yes, I heard. And I still think you are wrong, Max.
Oh. In which case, madam, I must yield. I'm dealing with a privileged person with whom I'm not allowed to disagree. So I accept my defeat at once.
It just isn't as you say.
Forgive me, but this matter is extremely difficult to grasp.
But what you profess, what you are proclaiming, means retreating from art.
Even if it were so, do I not have the right to such an experience?
Of course, but one can hardly prove something convincingly if one hasn't done the experiment yet.
You're entitled to that opinion.
Of course. I'm deeply convinced of that. You may not realize this, Max, but art is really concerned with a secret exchange, a mutual participation.
Ah, gentlemen. Ah, Madam Helena. Is Adam at home?
As a matter of fact, he's not at home.
When will he be back?
He should have been back about an hour ago. I'm waiting for him myself. But since I'm an idler by profession, I've been indulging in a futile discussion about the non-exchangeable and exchangeable man.
Excuse me, what man?
The non-exchangeable and...
Since Adam is not here, maybe we'll come back in an hour or so.
That's right. And you, gentlemen, we'll have had the chance to draw a clear distinction between non-exchangeable men and the subject of elemental changes.
We'll stop Adam in his tracks and make him wait for you.
Thank you.
Tell me, Max, does Adam have talent?
I'm fully convinced of it.
It's not as straightforward as that. It's something different. The notion of talent does not express what matters in Adam.
Then what does?
Adam transforms so much within himself and then marks the results on the canvas. But to me, he's not a typical painter. Now, I see a difference here. Your lives happen. They're expressed by you on the canvas. But that's why, gentlemen, you cannot see them objectively. You're bound up with your canvases, your palettes, paints. With Adam, it's different. For him, the need for canvas, for paint, drags way behind the need of his inner self. His attitude towards his craft is far more detached than yours, far more independent. He lives within himself, develops, contracts within himself, not on the canvas. As I said, he's not a typical painter.
Interesting.
Then what is he?
Typical seeker of life.
May I see the mayor?
No.
Is the mayor in?
No.
The head of the welfare department says that the poorhouse is all the city can afford right now. Well, I know this multitude will explode. After all, once they leave the poorhouse, they don't become any richer or better.
What can you do about that?
Society doesn't know what it carries within. Society is like a sick organism. But a sick organism soon spins itself, reaches its limits, and fails. It can hide the disease within for a long time. Or rather, it can hide from the disease. Yes, we are all hiding. We escaped to little islands of luxury, to the so-called social life, to so-called social structures and feel secure. But no, this is a big lie. The security, it blinds the eyes and plugs up the ears. And in the end, it will shatter.
In a way, we can wait for that shattering for the rest of our lives. And then I repeat, what can you do about it?
We all go our own ways. We all build our own nest. Meanwhile, for so many people, the road has become too narrow. They have no place to stand, no patch of ground to call their own, no crust of bread to earn, no child they can bring into this world without the certainty that it will be in everyone's way. And in the midst of all this, we move arrogantly confident in a general system that makes us ignore what cries out to be heard and suppress a justified outbreak. No, there is something wrong with all of us. I don't know what. I'm trying to find out. But you can be sure there will be an explosion.
Do you not see what's happening? He's deeply possessed.
Yes, and how?
I think I know how all this began. What's happening to him is a process that's accelerating rapidly. Sometime last winter, no, early spring, Adam and I were coming back from Count Zamoyski's. Yeah, we were in Krakowska Street, I think. Sleet was falling rapidly. A strong wind was blowing. We decided to take shelter and wait till it had blown over. So we took shelter in the nearest doorway. Adam, impatient as always, started to try the door handle. Suddenly, the door opened.
Oh, come in. What do you want? If you have nowhere to lie down tonight, go ahead. There's room. No one chases anyone away. It's nobody's property. It's the city's. But hurry. Others may come in such cold. No one wants to walk the streets. Are you drunk, brother?
No, we don't understand. We haven't come here to sleep.
No? Then beat it. If you haven't come to live here, what do you want?
We tend only to those who live here. The rest are trash. We don't want your kind here.
Get out.
Adam didn't say a word. We took leave of one another without saying anything. And now he's taken this experience into himself.
Taken it into himself?
Yes. He's reshaping it within himself.
What will result from this? A new phase in his art?
I don't know. I've told you what I think about Adam. I've told you what I think about his art.
Excuse me, is Mr. Chmielowski in?
Oh, he should be back any moment. Meanwhile, can I help you?
Well, then, would you let us have a look at Mr. Chmielowski's paintings? My mother has just come up from the country, and I should like to show her an interesting example of modern religious painting.
I don't see why not.
Thank you.
I know it has been Adam's custom to make his studio accessible to everyone. But he doesn't like exhibitions.
I don't find here that childlike, almost naive approach to God that the pre-Raphaelites had, or Perugino, or Fra Lippo. It's rather a wearisome way around.
Well, yes. But you must admit, Mother, that he's separated from them not only by 4 or 5 centuries of history, but also by a powerful difference in the way he thinks.
One can easily see that something transcends him, takes him out of himself. But defining it is much harder. Is it only melancholy, or indeed something supernatural?
So, look at that Christ, for instance. Of course, he's cautious here. But don't you think, Mother, that it reveals to us the immense tension within the artist?
It's here.
Remember the number of the house. Top floor. You can all come tonight. You can sleep here. Top of the stairs.
God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Ah, Adam. Don't you recognize our new guest?
Ah, Stanislav. I've been expecting you.
And we have other guests who came to admire your art.
Mr. Chmielowski is back.
Ah. Madam Helena. Sir?
Well, gentlemen, have you come to a definite conclusion on the subject of the non-exchangeable man?
Not at all, but here's the man himself. He's been trying to scare us with his arguments about mankind's being threatened from below, eaten up at the roots.
It isn't true, Max. Mankind is not being eaten up from the roots. It is rather like a tree being bitten off from the top. Surely you will not maintain that poverty is distributed like a punishment, a just punishment.
Well, forgive me, but after all, I cannot make the life lot of another man.
You mean you will go your own way, build your little nest, taking advantage of the seemingly secure social system. But if that system should fail, if by chance you should find yourself at the bottom, what then?
That view of society is wrong. The individual shapes himself and joins society as an individual. Society's fate depends on whether this individual fulfills his task, accomplishes his mission, meets his responsibility, or makes a mess of it. If he succeeds, then society will consist of a greater number of worthy individuals and will therefore be rather worthy itself. If he fails, then you will find in it more and more asylums and poorhouses, which are, of course, antisocial phenomena. And they are magnets, drawing human wrecks and loafers.
There's a great deal of truth in what you say. But you are ignoring one thing. In this situation, what are you to do? What am I to do? What is Stanislav to do? What is Madame Helena to do? I mean, you will all forgive me.
But I've just explained that. Each person must accomplish his task, create values out of the resources in his life. And since these resources are mainly in himself, he has to shut himself off from the world. Otherwise, he'll fritter away what he has. And that would be exactly an antisocial attitude.
I thought like that for a long time. I thought so even 2 months ago. But since then, I have seen that that is not enough. We cannot permit a whole mass of people to swarm through the poorhouses, leading almost animal lives, gradually deprived of all awareness, except that of hunger and fear. No. No. Ah, it's you. Please, these are my friends.
Permit me to view your paintings.
As you wish. I cannot find my way. It seems to me that all this is a continuous running away.
Running away?
Yes, running away.
From whom?
In a certain sense, from oneself. But no, after all, Max is himself. He lives in the same world as every one of us. Yet Max does not have to run away. He has no sense of being chased. So this does not mean running away from oneself.
Of course not. It means running away from responsibility. I wonder, how can I be made responsible for a citizen who's wasted his life and is now at the bottom?
You still think, Max, that the pattern of poverty corresponds to the pattern of punishment? No matter. But this is more than just running away from responsibility. It is running away from something or someone in ourselves. And in all those people.
Oh, from someone in yourself and in them?
Yes. Running away is a wearisome business. All I've tried to do so far has been a kind of self-protection. That's why this running away is so painful.
This running away sounds like gradual enlightenment.
Yes. One could put it that way. But this enlightenment is painful. It hurts more and more deeply.
And what are you defending?
How do I know what I'm defending? I'm defending my right to see the world in my own way. Not as Max sees it, but as most people see it. Isn't that so, George? For a few pennies, for a coin here, a coin there, the right to quietly lock up in oneself all those upheavals, the right to separate oneself from them, to stand calmly by the easel for a penny here, a penny there, to lock up all the world's upheavals in one's eye, in one's artistic vision. But all this is for no good. For a light will open up again. And one has to run away.
I told you this can be seen quite clearly in his paintings.
It could be a vocation.
Vocation? What kind of vocation?
I don't know. You must keep running away.
Yes. No. Forgive me, all of you. How could I get so mawkish about myself? I have abused your patience. Let's see, what were we talking about? Oh, yes, there's a great deal of truth in what you say, Max, but you see, not everyone can act the way you do.
I think you ought to paint at any price. Force yourself.
But then I would have to believe in art as you do.
And you? Maybe you think you can get rid of the urge to paint. Do you really think that this affair with the beggars will result in anything but a few new canvases? But that's all.
And then you will see how fruitful all your anguish has been.
No, madam. With all respect, I'm afraid you're wrong.
I think so, too.
No, I'm sure I'm right. All this will acquire meaning, gain its full value. Our experience passes into our work.
Please tell me, what does it cost you to play Ophelia or Lady Macbeth?
What does it cost? In a way, it cost me all my life. It is a strange ransom. Each time, I paid in full. Each time, I paid all over again.
Yes. It is a strange ransom indeed. But you see, madam, I cannot buy myself out at that price.
From whom? Yourself?
I am not alone.
I see. Mr. Chmielowski will surely forgive us for having taken so much of his time.
No, it is rather I who have taken your time.
We must go now. We wish you every success.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Adam, I must admit, you're becoming quite the celebrity. More and more people are visiting your studio.
Yeah. And if we include beggars and peddlers, this fame will grow indefinitely.
I must tell you, Adam,
we sincerely admire your devotion to the poor.
Again, I have to say that I oppose it, though I find it difficult to say so. One cannot serve two causes at once. Ever since Adam has devoted his life to the poor, his work has stood still. Has it ceased to be the expression of his vision?
I think not. No one will be able to deprive him of his vision.
I think you're right, Madam Helena. Sometimes one vision is quite enough. Oh, I will see you all at the exhibition.
Now we can talk about our business.
Forgive me for making you wait.
It suited me very well. I was able to complete my analysis.
Analysis?
Yes. Let me refer to the conversation I have just witnessed here. It's not polite to listen to a conversation in which one does not take part. But my life's mission is largely based on listening in. Yours too.
I don't think so.
You mean, unlike me, you don't listen in on other people's conversations? I know you listen in. I've often wondered how you could overhear so many truths while you lead such a distracting life. You're a big puzzle to me.
I don't understand what you have in mind.
Allow me to express my opinion. I renounce the right to hide my thoughts. I do this not out of sentiment, but simply because it fits in with my plans for you. Your friends want at any price to reduce your anger to an outburst of artistic genius. Yes, your anger is what matters. It's precious. Your intuition, your way of overhearing things, your way of sensing what the masses feel. Yes, Adam, I know the mills, the mines, and the factory floors. The masses feel a great, boundless anger. This anger is just. The outburst of this anger is a vision far more splendid than any vision a painter may have. And so, one must speed up this act of collective awareness. Do you realize what this means? What possibilities for creative work come into view? For that, one needs anger. You have that anger. You have it by intuition, by talent, by genius.
I don't know. If you're not mistaken in your views, I don't know. It seems to me that you were wrong.
Of course, it's obvious that you should resist it at first. But you are not yet sufficiently aware of your anger. I want to shape this splendid material in you. I feel committed to it. It's the logical outcome of my plans.
Well, so many things are struggling within me. You too can try.
First, I want to rebuke you for these pictures. It's not the way. Not the way to express the anger you feel. It's not the way to concentrate your strength. You dissipate it on sentiment, on moods. You are running away from your anger.
Ah, it's you. Come in. Come in. Did you eat? No? I'll bring you something. Please, sit down. Wait here. I'll be back.
I rebuke you for this as well. By taking these people in, you are dissipating their anger, as well as yours. And not letting it mature and erupt.
The poor always ye have.
Now, when collective awareness has matured in anger, it will deal with that too.
The poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always.
Ah, charity. A coin here, a coin there, for the right to secure the possession of the millions invested in banks, forests, lands, bonds, shares. This is what it boils down to in practice. While others toil, animal-like, 10, 12, 16 hours a day for a miserable wage, for less than the right to live, for the hope of consolation up above. But consolation changing nothing.
Is it possible that you were right in so much that you have said? Poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. Here, this is for you.
Hey, you! Listen, you benefactor. Take your stuff and get out!
They get mad here at anyone who is well dressed and not hungry. The council should take better care of us!
Well, did you hear what I said? I said get out before I kick you out.
Sir, I could use a coat.
Here.
You wouldn't happen to have a small piece of jewelry on you? Oh!
I'm telling you for the last time. And you, all of you are scum. If someone spits in your face, you will do nothing. You will just take it. And those scoundrels in their warm and comfy palaces wear fancy clothes, drink liqueurs. Sometimes, if they feel like it, they throw you a scrap, an old rag, a piece of moldy bread. And you idiots bow to them, call them benefactors, and kiss their sleazy hands. It's all so unjust. It's wrong! Listen to me. Don't you get it? Why is he wearing a suit and that fancy tie when I'm standing here in filthy rags, huh? Enough. I say enough. should make himself scarce. Better to spit on them as they spit on us. Don't you dare! Kill you! Let him take it all back. It will be worth more than these rags. You're not giving it back! You scum! You rat!
Brothers, you misunderstand me. You misunderstand me.
You stupid
Brothers! Brothers, you misunderstand me, brother. I really don't know if these thoughts are my own or if someone prompts them in me. I don't want to be severe with you. Be yourself. Finish the canvases you've begun, then arrange an exhibition. What else can you do? Indeed, I advise you never to return to the poorhouse unless you want to do harm. To what? To the liberation of those people. This must wait. It must change slowly from within. It must grow and mature on its own among them. You no doubt wish to bring their things that are strange to them. For instance, you would have them pray. Isn't that so? Work, carry the so-called cross. Well, you see, that is not what they need. They must be given human maturity. Oh. You have the capacity to place your thoughts strangely alongside mine. Once again, I can't distinguish anything. Well then, human maturity? What does that mean? It means maturity dictated by the conditions of their existence. You keep avoiding certain points, though. That is beginning to surprise me. Because you are a madman, and I must have the sense, the moderation you lack. Why are you here? Quiet. Don't wake him. Wake him? He is clearly emaciated, and that is why. And then there is something more in him than just a beggar leaning against a lamppost. Really, I don't know anything about it. Exactly. There's an image. Oh, yes, for you, everything has value as an image. You are a painter, a non-pictorial image. You see, he is a child. He is a son. I, too. You. Not I. Never. Oh, how much is missing in you. How much you miss. Come, my friend. You're not saying anything. Your hands. Why, you're freezing. You can't walk? Well, come. Come. You have saved me. You were always deeper than my vision. And always distant. I beg you. Alter my sight. There's nothing more I can do, nothing. They do not need me, that is clear. Tell me how to extricate myself. They do not need me. Yes, I found that out. I am convinced of it. Why can't I convince you? Tell me yourself. What is to remain of me? Of what use shall I be? if you reject my paintings, and they reject me. Oh. Again, you are above my thoughts. You speak in them. Silence. Hush. This moment is wondrous and awesome. Quiet. Hush. Hush. So many people in the world have been unable to face up to this moment. Its enchantment overwhelmed their weakness. Shall I be equal to it? Well then, yes. Yes. I shall be worthy of that dispossession. I shall gain as much as I lose, as much as I leave behind, rid myself of. Yes. 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 But tell me, can you ask that of a man? Can you ask that of me? How can I cease to be who I am? You must take this form for me. This form that I embrace with my soul, and these patches of color on canvas. And you, and so many people, are one. Are one. This is how I will preserve you in so many, many people. What is wrong with that? Can this be against you? No. No. This is not you. You are alien. You are distant. You are more and more alien to the one I know. My vision of you is fading, but at the same time, I see you more and more clearly. How can this be? But it is not you. So it is not true that I preserve you in so many people, in so many souls.
You're looking away again. You're not painting.
Is that you, Max?
What else have you to confess, my son? Maybe you are beset by temptations or anxieties?
Yes. My greatest temptation is the thought that one can love with the intelligence only, and that this will suffice.
What do you mean?
I find in such a love the only possible release from all these matters that I have taken so much of your time with.
There is too much resignation in what you have just said.
I know that they do not need me. And at the same time, God does not need my art.
You are wrong. They do need you, and God regards your art with a father's eye.
After all, it brings people nearer to him. You attempt to search for his glory through it.
Exactly. But tell me, Father, how can that be? I have a deep conviction that it is true, but something destroys that belief. What remains of us then? What remains of us before God? Only rejection, I suppose.
Who knows whether they are rejecting you? Would not have the greatest significance.
But in that case, they would take away my right to be an artist.
Not quite.
I cannot love two different things, for I cannot love by halves.
One can love God in many ways.
Everybody says so. So why does this universal truth not ring true to me?
I don't know. Souls have their different ways, different causes of purification.
Oh, yes. I began to find dirt in what was once an ideal.
Perhaps. A mission requires purification. Let yourself be molded by love.
How?
I don't know. Your love is your own. Love joins us with him more than anything else, because it transforms everything. Let yourself be molded by love.
Ah, it's him.
Still not fed up?
You should have had enough.
Yes. I've had enough, but he hasn't. Will you receive me today, brothers? I've managed to bring some more things for you.
Do you have a coat for me?
And shoes? Who cares? You can do what you wish today. Victor isn't here. He's the one that started that row. The police have got him.
Tell us what you really think about it all. The fact that sometimes you bring us some rags does not.
I don't know. I suppose the rich have to give some of their wealth to the poor.
I'm sick and tired of this. Poor, poor. To call someone like Victor or myself poor or beggar is like spitting in our faces. We are not beggars by profession. We're victims of the system. The order, if you like.
They say you're a painter.
What do you really want of me?
Don't take any notice of these foul-mouthed and empty-bellied fools. Show them your finger and they'll bite your hand.
Yes, but it is clear that you want something more.
Well, if you give us more to eat, and better rags.
Yes, yes, but you want something more. He wants something more. She wants, and he. I know. And what you want is just, most just. That's it. That's what matters. And it matters that you should want it. That you should not consider yourselves outcast and get out of this quagmire. Yes, that is most just and proper. But why do you want it from me? It is too much. It is too much.
Oh, what is it, sir? We don't want anything new from you. Bring us what you can, what they can give you. It's all right.
No. I mean, yes. You don't want anything else. I know. But he, one word was enough. One of you spoke one word, one sentence, and that was enough. I know he wants it.
What are you dreaming about? Who's he?
Because it is true.
I wanted to redeem myself. To give a coat here, a loaf of bread there, to put someone up. But all of this is for nothing. Tramps, beggars, street urchins, they still remain.
We've had enough of this.
Yes. We've had enough of this.
I see you took my meaning.
There are to be brothers. Brothers are to rise.
You think so? But what of it? We've heard such words before.
There are to be brothers.
Forget it!
Get us some clothes.
Some meat! Vodka!
No. No, enough!
Shut up! Stop your beggars whining!
What matters is that a man, such as I, who has become the son.
Stop it! Stop it!
You're stubborn after all. Something is speaking beside me. You're stubborn. Your obstinacy will destroy you. You'll see. And the worst of it is that, again, I can't distinguish between myself and the one who speaks. Of course, the intelligence has been enhanced. Oh, no. You were wrong. You said that badly. Don't say you were wrong. Simply say, I am wrong. Well then, I am wrong. Oh no. Oh no. Last time, you were able to reduce the matter to the limits of knowledge. You will not be able to do that again today. Again, you use the wrong person. You will not be able to do that again today. Why not? Because you will not be able to reduce everything to the limit of intelligence. Why not? Because I am allowing myself to be molded by love. Exactly. Exactly. One can see it at once. There is nothing that would do more harm to knowledge. Do you understand? You call it love. To me, it is an unbearable burden, an unbearable strain on knowledge, a destruction of knowledge, a watering down of knowledge, a warping of knowledge. Do you understand? It is a cancellation of knowledge. And that is why you and others like you cannot share my knowledge. Because you have distorted it, desecrated it, defiled it. And you see now, you call this love. This, you call this love. See, you cannot get out of it. You cannot get out of it. You call it love. Why do you laugh? Because I have rid myself of the tyranny of intelligence.
I think, Adam, you should stay with us longer. And rest.
From what?
From paintings. From all those paintings.
My friends say I don't do anything. Max says so.
The countryside will do you good.
Yes.
Stay here. Revive your spirits.
Yes. I could help the people here too, I suppose. But the poverty there is so much more acute.
I want to help you, Adam. Will you?
That depends. That depends.
Ah, Adam!
Uncle.
I'm trying to persuade Adam to stay with us longer.
That would be wonderful, Adam. Wonderful. You haven't seen my orphanage yet.
Oh, yes.
That's right. Peasant children, orphans. It has revealed to me the purpose of my life. It couldn't have been otherwise. Everything else failed me. But these children have grown attached to me as if I were their father. You see, Adam, we have to go down to them. It's high time for equality. We're guilty of such negligence.
Indeed. Is it true, Marinia, that people here still believe in charity?
What a strange question.
Precisely. What does it mean?
That these people are still primitive in the simplicity of their morals.
Adam, what do you mean by that?
Nothing. You have a very kind heart, Uncle. Surely it would be hard to imagine you fraternizing with beggars.
What beggars?
Oh, yes. They're children. Orphans.
You are very absent-minded, Adam.
Exactly. Well then, you will stay with us longer, won't you? Huh?
Of course he will. He most certainly will.
I don't know anything yet. Still, you are terribly unlike him whom you are. You have toiled in every one of them. You're deadly tired. They have exhausted you. This is called charity. But with all this, you have remained beautiful. The most beautiful of the sons of men. Such beauty is called charity. Strange. I doubt if any of my Munich friends have tested their painter's vision among the bunks of the poor. No painter in the world, surely.
Adam, is that you?
Max. Forgive me, I am a collector for the municipal poorhouse. Would you like to make a donation for the poor?
How strange to see you in this wilderness, Adam.
You're right, there is a wilderness here.
Forgive me.
We haven't seen him for such a long time.
Where has it been? Caring for the poor? No. I know that he was painting Ecce Homo. Very interesting painting, anticipating some new technical possibilities, but there's something twisted about this painting, something not quite up to his potential, yet something that outgrows it.
You never really believed in art, Max.
I didn't? How's that? Not too long ago, you said exactly the opposite.
And yet, you don't believe that a painting can dissect a man, can transform a man.
Ecce Homo.
May God reward you. Excuse me. Would you like to contribute something for the poor in the municipal poorhouse?
No.
Sorry.
I told you a few months ago, this is not the way. This does not strengthen the tremendous collective anger, but disarms it, blunts its edge. I explained this to you, remember?
Perfectly. I never really left that conversation behind. You promised to shape the raw material in me.
But instead, sentiment has prevailed in you. It's true, I was negligent.
Someone else wasn't.
With poor results.
One never knows. But on the whole, yes.
Stop lowering your eyes, bending your head like a martyr. I've had enough of it. They too. I go on. Because I feel anger rising in me. I've told you about your responsibility to the revolution. You let the people down. You contribute to the disintegration of their powers. And you do it knowingly.
Yes. You can be sure that I do it knowingly. With the conviction that it is the only way.
That only increases your guilt.
I accept that.
But my only concern is to prove to you that you are wrong. Yes, I'll prove it at once. Are you willing?
Yes, I'm willing. How do you want to do it?
It's very simple. Where's that poorhouse? Let's go now. Right away.
What matters is that you have human rights. Or let's put it differently, that you have the right
to human rights.
But you have been denied that right.
Who's denied it?
Who? There isn't one single culprit. One has to expose whole groups of people, one by one. The worst thing is that they want to convince you that none of the little you have is yours by right, that all is given to you out of their generosity, out of their charity. And listen, they yell the same things at the workers in the factories, at the miners and the laborers on landed estates. You are born to have nothing, they to have everything. I've come here to arouse what's dormant in you. Why do you allow yourselves to be oppressed by poverty and hamper the just rebellion within you? Why is your anger silent? Huh? Do not be afraid. You need only to tap your anger, and the forces will emerge that know how to control, use, and direct it. Do not expect charity. Charity degrades you. You don't need it. Beware the apostles of charity. They are your enemies.
Who does he mean?
I wanted to convince you that there are those who think of you, who fight for your rights, but they need your anger. Only give us your anger.
There'll always be enough of that.
What of it?
But you always take fright at the first hint of danger.
What? It's easy for you to say that when you have enough food to sink your teeth into.
Yeah, and not a bad coat on your back.
Try to be one of us and see how it is when your teeth chatter.
Be one of us. Be one of us. You don't understand a word of what I've been saying. I'm telling you, there are those who think of you. I've come only to make you aware of the strength you possess.
But you are just talking, and nothing comes of your words. That's the whole point!
Yes, that's the whole point.
I've come to prepare you for the day something will happen. It will come, and it won't be long now.
How do you know about it? Yeah, how do you know?
There have been others here, you know.
But you must understand. We're talking about great masses. You're not alone. There are millions.
You'll go away, and we shall remain.
You haven't understood anything. Not one word.
You are far away from us, and we are far away from you!
We know only one thing. Someone who lives among us knows all about us. Others don't know anything.
One more benefactor?
They all want to use us!
Right!
Dregs of revolution.
Yes. Yes. There are people who are not yet ripe for the revolution that you have in mind.
Not many.
I think most of them. The great majority. Almost all of them.
No, you are mistaken. You'd have to see the workers. These people are just louts. Life costs them nothing, so they shirk the struggle. Their anger doesn't hold out in the long run.
I think there are few who could lift themselves by the force of their anger. By the force of their own anger. But they should lift themselves. They should be lifted up.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
That I am very grateful to you.
What for?
Revelation.
Revelation?
Yes. Of course, it's not the same for both of us, because two different ways lead from the same point.
I know my way. Yours doesn't count.
Really? Did what just happened here not teach you anything? What happened was symbolic. There's a great mass of people that wants to have, that simply wants to take. What will you do if it needs more? Let's count on that force of anger. Let's assume that by that force of anger, they are able to lift themselves up and take possession of many goods. Man's poverty is deeper than the resources of all those goods you are talking about. All those goods man can aspire to by the force of his anger. Yes, one man should not remain poor and another rich.
According to you, it must be so.
I'm sure. I believe. And I know that man should aspire to all goods, to the greatest among them. But here, anger is no good. Here, charity is essential.
Why is that? You didn't follow me.
Indeed not. They did not follow you either.
Do you think that they will follow you?
No. I will follow them.
Stop wasting time on empty words. Are you coming?
No.
Where will you sleep? In this hovel?
They think of me as almost one of them now. I'll stay.
If you like. It'll even suit your style.
Exactly. I've managed to work that style out at last. took a long time, but I think that will be my style now. No, it is not my style. I am indebted for it.
God bless you. What do you think? How long can we go on like this?
What do you mean?
Begging is all right for a while, but one can have enough of it in the end.
It's not our business. You've taken a vow.
Many people have.
No, brother. These thoughts of yours are not good. Be watchful.
But listen. Everyone is entitled to use his brains. This can't last.
I suppose. God bless you. But our brains must be silent while it does last.
More and more people crowd in on us. People with their bellies swollen in hunger. Tramps, addicts, and all those people he finds in the streets, or who come from goodness knows where. They think they have the right to be with us.
May God bless you.
And then he drags drunken scoundrels out of the gutter and hauls them back to us on his old back.
God bless you. So what are you driving at, Brother Anthony? This is what we took our vows for, and it's not our business. He thinks for us.
But he could make a couple of suggestions. After all, if we gave up all this begging, we could find the means to help more people. The cause would only profit by it.
To Brother Superior, poverty is dearer than anything.
Precisely. But it doesn't seem right. Are we to help people, or to beg no matter what the results?
God bless you. Well, what do you say to that? Isn't it beautiful? It's yours. All yours.
Every day I'm boiling this water, not knowing what you're going to put into it.
Yes, soon everyone will have a plate of food. Not only do we have no need for stores or larders, but every day our Father feeds us and clothes the poor.
That's how it is.
And whom do you have to thank for that? For not being entangled, not surrounded by storerooms, pantries, coffers, money bags, fears, thieves. Well, whom? Whom?
You, I suppose, brother.
Not at all. Me, indeed. What an idea.
But it must be you.
No. No. The vows.
We were street beggars before.
And now you're pledged to be beggars. That has changed everything. The vows have changed it all. You have come to love poverty. That's all.
And in the old days, we hated it.
But now you've come to love it, to be wed to it. So you see, there was no point in all those squabbles.
Some find it's a burden, though.
God bless you.
I think I saw the concert last week, didn't I? In the old town square?
I have something important to tell you, brother.
Well, I am at your service.
I'll come straight to the point. The sort of life you lead appeals to me, and please admit me to your brotherhood, Brother Superior. I have thought about it for a long time, and this is the only way to save my ailing faith.
Very well, Hubert. You may come stay with us for a while. Then you will make your choice.
I have already chosen.
You're sure of that?
Well, that's the point. Can one ever be completely sure? One can only search, hope to find one's way.
You have spent a great time, a deal of time with music, haven't you?
Yes. In the past, I looked for a way through from that angle in vain. There must have been a moment in your life, brother, when you faced the need to make similar decisions.
One cannot infer anything from that apparent analogy. What matters here is whether you have been chosen.
How can one be sure about that?
One must have an altogether new view of the world. You do not have it. Now that makes a difference. My dear boy, that makes a difference. It is one thing to apply to the world the rules by which musical tonalities come together and disperse. That is immensely interesting and immensely beautiful and sublime. But it is quite another to view the misery and degradation in the world and to know precisely how God views it all. To know what misery draws him closer to men and what separates him from them.
I think I would know how to judge.
With what? A disappointed musical vision. Do you at least know the misery of man before God?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm in the dark.
Well, that in itself need not be harmful.
Please help me.
Poor boy. It seems to me that you are searching for solutions in too bold a way. You must not try to change like this. You must let changes grow slowly. You need patience. I do not believe, of course, that you are threatened with a loss of faith. Nonetheless, you are searching for strong stimuli, and not in the world of emotion, but in the world of reality. And that is good.
Yes? Brother Superior wishes to reassure me.
But you see, your case is not easy. There are things that have not yet matured. You are still really on the other side, but something is pulling you over.
You have defined it well, brother.
But I am still not sure.
Of what?
Your vision.
What vision? You keep talking about the vision, brother.
Ah, yes. You see, one can grope in the dark for a long time.
I have come to you for the light.
Yes, yes. But I am afraid that you will go blind. When you are deprived of your music, and this does not mature, it will be very dark. I I do not know how long that darkness will last.
Brother Superior, if you don't help me, who will?
But I want to help you. But you must not imagine that this means you can stay with us for God.
No? What does it mean then?
It means rather you should go on searching unaided. A man like you should not take shortcuts or make the way too easy.
So, Brother Superior, you refuse?
I advise against it.
But then you condemn me to further misery.
That does not matter. You are called elsewhere.
Where?
This will reveal itself in due time.
For some time now, a certain thought has been forcing itself upon me. It is nagging at me.
Well, please tell me.
I have come to you, Brother Superior, convinced that no one else can solve my difficulties as well as you. After all, they reflect your own.
That does not mean anything. What is it?
Brother Superior, do you simply want to erase your life through me?
God is too good. God is too generous. Too generous.
Isn't that you would wish, Brother Superior, to cross out in me what all your life has been? It's impossible. Impossible.
I'd like a word with you, Brother Superior.
Maybe later we'll find a suitable moment.
I'd like, rather, to talk now. It's a simple matter. I've had enough of this begging.
You're not the first.
I think you could do infinitely more good if you put an end to your obstinacy.
But, brother, all the good here is done through poverty.
Through beggary? Through going around with sacks for begging?
And what do you think? Do you think any of your homeless, with their hunger-swollen bellies, would believe us if they saw us carrying something different from what they carry on their own backs?
Whether they believe or not, what does it matter? I was one of them, so I know. Today, they simply make demands.
Not at all. The most important thing is that they believe.
And in your view, they have time to think about belief? They don't think. If they did, they would have to stop making demands. It's enough to give.
That's not true. One must rouse them from such thoughtlessness.
What for?
To teach them to demand even more. Haven't you grasped that? To demand even more, to search for more. And you're wrong at that. They do think about it. If they think about anything at all, they think about that one thing. Oh, Anthony. Anthony, haven't you understood that yet?
And what can you do if somebody has not understood you? I'm not the only one. There are more like me. It's only I have the courage to tell you about it, Brother Superior.
Thank you for doing so, Anthony.
They don't understand you either, though they agree with you. That's the easy way. They live at your expense. They depend on your thinking. They do not think for themselves. That's why I ask you again, Brother Superior, what do you teach us? Why do you make us live from hand to mouth and beg? I ask you this in front of them all.
My brethren, I have taken everything from you. I have demanded everything from you. I did not deceive you with any promises. Did I have the right to do this? I have also imposed a burden on you. But I looked deep in each one of you for its support. Where hatred of the cursed burden was to transform itself into the love of it. Did I have the right to do it? After all, even your poverty was your own. In the past, there you were, paupers, with the wind of desolation blowing across your misery. Once you became close to him, your fall changed into the cross, and your slavery turned to freedom. The Son of God is all freedom, without a trace of slavery.
What of it? Even if he is all freedom, he was once.
He still is.
He is. I believe. You told us to believe in him, to pray to him, to imitate him. Very well. You said, be poor because he didn't have a place where he could rest his head. Very well. We listened to you willingly because you did that. There was no deception in you. And yet we...
He still is. He constantly reaches souls where he recreates himself. Clearly, he did not reach deep enough. Clearly. Someone is to blame. There were 3 of us. He... No. You. No. Maybe I... Bells for the anglers have rung.
What's going on? Back to work. Back to work. Now, move! Stop it! Stop it! What are you doing? Stop it!
How is it with you?
We were let off early from work.
Why was that?
Something is happening in the city.
There are no trams. Or cars.
They say the electricity and gas have been turned off.
I felt an unusual excitement this morning. Yes. Yes. Such a sudden outburst, though. Explosives must have been ready. All they needed was a spark. How is it with you, brother?
I came from my collecting rounds. There is disquiet in the city. The police are everywhere.
Sit, brother.
You see? A lot of good your begging will do you now.
Indeed, brother Anthony.
Didn't I say? Didn't I?
Yes. I have known about this for a long time. It had to come.
You knew? Brother Superior? What did you know?
About anger. About great, just anger.
And?
Oh, well. You see, that anger must erupt. Especially if it is great. And it will last. Because it is just. I know for certain, though, that I have chosen a greater freedom. Many years after he wrote his play, Karol Wojtyła, who later became Pope John Paul II, proclaimed Adam Chmielowski a saint, Saint Brother Albert. On that occasion, he spoke the following words. Common good in particular, is that which ensures the good of each member of the community. It ensures it in a sovereign manner, in a manner which conforms to personal dignity. In participating in the creation of the common good, everyone is also a giver of his own good. The category of ownership is one of the rights of the human person, whereas solidarity is more than sympathy or superficial sentiment caused by the evil which touches so many persons. Whether close or distant,
On the contrary, it is a strong and permanent will to become involved for the common good. That is, for the good of all and everyone. Because we all truly are responsible for all.